Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of From Corner to Corner. Today is birthday edition. Today is Neil Payne's birthday. Woo-hoo!
37.
Wow.
Oh man, you're getting ready to fall apart. That's what happened with Chris Paul. He just turned 37. He fell apart.
I mean, I don't know that you all remember 37. That was at least 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
I mean, y'all were 15 when I...
It was
10
years ago.
If we're going to start off with that, then I've got a little surprise.
Uh-oh. Surprise?
Surprise is, we'll reach down here in the goodie bag.
Y'all
First of all,
y'all gonna make me cry.
I just pulled this, because we're going to talk about baseball cards in a little bit. I just pulled this the other day. You know that guy? Grant?
He was.
He was a rookie last year.
I think he was
I just
Mr.
pulled his
Irrelevant.
autograph. It was a Buccaneer fan. He's a Buccaneer fan.
I think he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Was he Mr. Irrelevant?
I think.
That would make sense. The other thing,
Uh-oh.
Wow.
I think you'll be really
But wait,
about
there's
it.
more.
Oh, wait, there's more.
I picked this up.
Woo!
You're going to make me cry.
A little WWF superstar, Ric Flair.
Take a little picture here. Awesome.
Just a little birthday gift because when we're recording on
You
Tuesday.
texted my wife the other day.
I didn't.
Is that a mic that it
you
comes
sure?
with?
Absolutely. I have had that since I was on vacation.
I think you texted my wife.
I did not.
About what?
Somebody randomly texted her the other day and asked when my birthday was.
Was it?
But I think she has your number saved.
Well, it was me, and she never responded. So, which I guess that makes sense as to why she never responded about the birthday cake I asked about 2 months ago. So,
I thought maybe she had your old number saved.
maybe.
I have to update that.
Lucy's a busy woman. She's making enchiladas for the whole county.
She is, man. And yes,
Plus, she runs a new baking, right?
Yet a new baking.
A new baking.
Yep.
That's
Not a nude.
new.
No.
That could be
N-E-W.
dangerous. Nude baking.
I bet it could be more successful.
That's on the Playboy channel at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That is the microphone, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thank
That's
you.
pretty cool.
You're the man. I don't care what anybody says about you.
He's even giving the woo in the background there with his.
He looks like he's confused.
Either that or
Like he's unsure what's going on.
Either that or taking a dump.
That's actually game day look in about 3 weeks. Whenever he has his last match,
right.
he's gonna be like,
He's reconsidering life decisions. They're like, what am I doing?
His last match is in Nashville.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be in Nashville.
It's Friday night, unfortunately.
It's Sunday night.
I thought it was Friday.
I thought it was Sunday night.
It's Sunday night.
Oh.
They still haven't named an opponent yet.
That's a little odd.
Yeah, there was somebody from the WWE that stepped up and said they would do it, but it was like just this. I don't even remember who it was now. That's how irrelevant it was.
I'm still surprised it's not Jay Lethal because they had just done that workout and it was on Twitter and it looked like it went pretty well.
Yeah.
You know what they should have done? Is they should have put the NWA World's title back on Matt Cardona or on Nick Aldis, and then his final match could have been for the NWA World title against Nick Aldis or Matt Cardona.
Of course, Cardona's hurt.
Nobody wants to see him against Trevor Murdoch.
Right. Which
Even though Trevor Murdoch is a Harley race guy.
Still blows me away that Trevor Murdoch is the champion.
He was trained by Trevor Murdoch.
Yeah. So, anyways, I thought it'd be a cool way to open the it's very, it's like the first time that we've had a show drop on an actual birth date. So,
I mean, it may not ever happen again.
yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yep, for sure.
Now on to bigger and better things.
Right,
I mean, it's just another day. That's what I tell everybody.
Right.
Just another day.
Adam, you ready for the warm-up?
I am. So we ran out of the tunnel. We're high-fiving everybody. We're kissing babies. Neil's crowd surfing at this point.
I am.
First of all, before I do that.
Neil's throwing the jersey in the stands before the game starts.
He's got the shirt cannon. It's fired up. Little kids are screaming in the top corner, throw it here, Neil!
Oh, man, I would love to have one of those.
The fine people of West Virginia, they travel well. And they're here, they're letting their boy know all's taken care of. So, let's warm up.
All right.
This week, NBA Summer League has began. We've seen all these rookies that we thought was going to be top 5 picks. They kind of looked the part. Paolo looks better than everybody. We found out Zach Wilson's a dog.
He's a dog.
He is a dog.
He's
Is he
my
a dog?
new favorite player in the NFL.
Or is he a cougar hunter?
He's a dog.
He's a dog. He can sniff out the cougars, though.
That's right, he can.
That's why he's a dog, because he can sniff that cougar trail. We also found out Heinz Field is going to be no more. It's now going to be called
It doesn't matter.
Acrisure
Something
Stadium.
stupid.
It'll
Yeah.
always be Heinz Field.
It'll always be Heinz Field.
Just like Commonwealth Stadium.
Get Up yesterday released a top 10 ranking of quarterbacks according to execs, coaches, scouts, and players. Aaron Rodgers topped the list, followed by Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, Justin Herbert, Russ Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and Dak Prescott. Anybody on that list surprise you?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers at number 1. There's no way he should be
Was
number 1.
that in
Josh Allen should be number 1.
That was the exact order.
Really?
Deshaun Watson at 9 is the one that
Now-
throws me off. We haven't seen this guy throw in over a year.
Now, Jeremy Fowler is the one that compiled this list from all. I sent this to him earlier today because I was like, I've heard it for 2 days.
Yep.
Jeremy Fowler compiles the list from all these senior execs and all this stuff and just basically built the list based off of that. And look, I understand that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. But when it comes to big games and playoffs, no. And, like, I know Mahomes only has 1, but, I mean, Josh Allen, I think, was at 3. They had Tom Brady at 4, if I remember correctly. I do agree with you. There's no way in the world that Watson should be on that list, but you don't have Lamar on that list, and he was just an
Listen,
MVP.
I think Lamar's going to return to MVP form this year, and I think the Ravens are going to be sneaky good.
Have you seen the latest picture of Lamar?
Yes.
Dude shredded.
Yeah.
Well, he's upset that, you know, the contract negotiations aren't going well.
You know why? He's his own agent. He has no
Him and his mom.
Yeah, he has no representation at all. It's him.
Yeah.
Well, so he's out to prove this year that, hey, you should have paid me. It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't re-sign with Baltimore, and he.
I think he has to because there's nobody else built for him.
I don't know, man. He's pretty good.
But
The NFL's a copycat
I think
league.
the Watson guaranteed contract scared some people, and it's like they were talking about it on Colin Cowherd today. It was like after everybody's had a chance to breathe, they step back and they look at it and they go, oh, well, that was the Browns, and that's a Browns thing to do. We're not going to do that. And it was kind of like, you know, there's some contracts in the NBA that are getting handed out, and that all reverts back to when they got that new TV deal a few years ago, and they were giving Timothy Mozgov $27 million a year just because they had to spend
Matthew
it.
Dellavedova got a few years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's when the stupid money started.
And you're like, Matthew Dellavedova? Like, you wouldn't even know who the guy was if he didn't play with LeBron James.
Deladova and Mozgov both. Because
Yeah.
they were both on that Cavs team, and then they both got paid immediately.
And now you got Jalen Brunson is a good player.
Not $100 million.
Not $100 million player.
They got to re-sign R.J. Barrett, and he's going to wind up getting $100 million. So they're going to have $300 million guys on the team between Barrett, Brunson, and Randall.
And that's not
And
counting
all
Mitchell
three of-
Robinson.
right.
He's close.
All 3 of those guys are the number 3 on a team. So they got 3 guys that are number 3s. No number 1s or no number 2s.
Yeah.
They're going to be a play-in game, bottom. That's just what they're going to be, you know. They didn't make any kind of splash to go get anything significant.
Right. So to get back to your list, So we don't agree with Deshaun Watson. Who do we put in Deshaun Watson's place?
It has to be Lamar Jackson because he's not on the list.
Right.
Yeah. Who was number 10?
10 was Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And you look at that list, and this was one of those points that I've heard throughout several, because they've talked about it on literally every freaking show that's been on the radio for the last 2 days. What do you see in common with a lot of those guys? A lot of those guys they've got the cannons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they stand in the pocket, they throw the ball. It's not so much, they don't look at Lamar Jackson in that way, even though Lamar Jackson doesn't have the talent at wide receiver that a lot of these guys have had.
And I'm telling you guys, I know our prediction show is coming up in a few weeks. Lamar Jackson is going to have a very good year this year.
I think he's out to prove a point. And he was hurt a little bit last year. They were all hurt last year. You remember we were sitting in the freaking fantasy football draft, and
J.K. Dobbins.
Dobbins went down
during a scrimmage.
Yeah, yeah. Literally during the draft.
Jeff gets the notification. He'll be okay. He'll be okay.
Yeah, out for the season before it was even over with.
And then they lose. Gus Edwards just a few weeks after that.
Yeah, yeah. So they were a train wreck the whole season
and
with injuries.
Plus, he's ticked off that they got rid of Hollywood Brown, and they didn't even consult him on that. Like, he didn't even know it was coming.
Right.
I mean, not that Hollywood Brown is a fantastic wide receiver, but he was the best wide receiver they had.
By far.
And
but Mark Andrews is their best option.
Mark Andrews is their best option.
Yeah. He's listed right now as fantasy tight end number 1.
Mark Andrews?
Yeah.
He should be.
Yeah. So.
Well, and I think, and we'll talk about this later on too, but I think a lot of that is because with them getting rid of Tyreek Hill in Kansas City, Kelsey is going to get double and triple covered.
Yeah.
And, yep. And also, I mean, and when you, listen, the oil rig, Valdez Scantling, okay, he's not going to replace him. If Aaron Rodgers, I told Wes this week, if Aaron Rodgers can't make you a fantasy relevant player, you can't be a fantasy relevant player.
Yeah. Kittles will probably take a step back too.
Carey?
Dropping off to Trey Lance.
If Trey Lance is the starter.
Well, I mean, the way they're talking, Garoppolo might be going to Seattle.
Nobody wants to go to Seattle.
Except for Geno.
Yeah.
Listen.
But I've also heard Garoppolo to Tampa Bay is a possible backup,
too. They could bring in Pat White and Steve Slayton, and they'd still be trash.
Well, yeah, because Pat White's on the sidelines coaching now.
Well, I'm talking
I
about
don't know what Steve Slayton's doing.
They'd still be trash.
Bad thing, I mean, Seattle's going to be able to put up points with everybody else. Their defense is going to let them give up a gazillion points.
Well, I mean,
but their offense between Lockett and Metcalf and Rashad Penny and Ken Walker, and then if they can get a decent quarterback play, they'll be fine offensively.
Geno can find DK. I mean,
Geno can't pass it 30 yards anymore. Drew Lock will be able to do that, but I mean, he'll be throwing it at somebody about 5 yards left of them.
So
Garoppolo makes sense.
We're about to put an LA case on this Geno Smith Drew Lock.
Speaking of the list, though, do we all agree that Aaron doesn't belong at number 1?
Oh, yeah. No, he does not belong at number 1.
I think Josh Allen's number 1.
That's who I would say is number 1. Josh
and then
Allen.
probably Justin Herbert.
Yeah, they're going to give more love to Mahomes and Brady and them because they've won Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, so Tom Brady, as long as he decides to continue playing, he is grandfathered into the top 10 list.
Right.
Okay,
top 5.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be the exact same way.
Yeah.
As long as they decide to put on a jersey for Sunday, they're going to be in the top.
Who they got at 5?
5 is Joe Burrow.
It's only because he went to the Super Bowl last year.
I don't know. Joe's pretty good.
Joe's
a stud.
Joe's pretty good, and not only that, he's just like whoever can be the quarterback in Seattle. He's got weapons, and they're young. And so you see what they did last year, and you see what they can be in the future. That's what they're basing that off of.
Joe Burrow did it with no offensive line last year. The
Right.
Bengals went out in free agency and got him a line.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And shored up the defense, too.
Yeah.
Right.
So, for sure. Anything else on the news circuit there that we want to talk about?
Are you a Bears fan this week or no? Because I do have Bears news I put in here just for you.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You know, they're trying to surround their young quarterback with a lot of talent.
God, they need to do
They
something.
didn't do it very well.
Today, he got a wide receiver.
Who'd he get?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
It's a former first rounder,
Okay.
oh.
From 8 years ago.
John Ross.
N'Keal Harry from the Patriots.
Oh, they
man.
traded from N'Keal
No, I
Harry.
think the Patriots released him,
The
didn't they?
Patriots traded him
Oh, did they?
to the Bears for a 7th-round pick.
Listen, it broke earlier today, or maybe this morning or late last night, that the Patriots were getting ready to release him.
Yeah. He requested a trade a year ago.
I mean, the one thing about it is you give up a 7th-round pick, you get him. If he goes to waivers,
That's
there's no
true.
guarantee you're getting him.
I mean, I can't imagine that there is a whole lot of people beating down N'Keal Harry's door.
I wouldn't think so.
Bless his heart.
That's your new wide receiver. You
Bless
need
his
a
heart.
jersey?
Bless Justin Fields' heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to matter if he can't throw it. If he doesn't have time.
Is N'Keal Harry your number? Is he your wide receiver one?
No.
Darnell Mooney is number
Yeah,
one.
Darnell Moody's
I
number
thought,
one.
after
I thought he was a
Mooney-
head case.
After Mooney,
Darnell Mooney's really good.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
real good.
after Mooney, you
He'll
got
be
Byron
fantastic
Pringle.
here in about 2 years on another team.
Yeah.
After Mooney, it's Byron Pringle.
No.
Then
No,
you've
he got suspended or something.
Did he get suspended?
He got in trouble.
He got in trouble. I don't know that the suspension has come down yet, but I mean, technically, Cole Kmet's their number 2.
Well, right, at tight end.
Yeah.
And he's really good.
He will be good, yes.
Then you've got newfound
Right.
talent,
Yeah.
N'Keal Harry.
Then it drops off the cliff.
Then
They were talking about like David Montgomery.
I mean, I don't even.
Right?
I'm trying to see here.
They don't even have more than 3 wide receivers.
That's what they're going to do, though.
Equanimous St. Brown.
they
He
need
played
to-
for the Packers for
They
a
need
little
to hand
while.
it off and then hand it off. They need to play.
Oh, they drafted that wide receiver from Tennessee.
They drafted a
Velus
couple.
Jones.
Yeah, they actually drafted a couple of wide receivers. I think.
Here's the problem, or not. It's not really a problem. You got these tweener quarterbacks. You know, the Bears have 1. Carolina has 3.
The Patriots.
Patriots have. Nobody's really sold on Mac Jones. Seattle has 2. Like these, it's going to cause. We've had this conversation. There's a lot of high quarterback prospects in this upcoming draft, and you're going to have a lot of quarterbacks, probably like Will Levis, that shouldn't be a first-round draft pick, that 100% are going to be first-round draft picks.
Right. I would agree with that.
Since you brought up,
We're
Will
going to set a
Levis,
record for quarterbacks in the first round next
probably
year.
right.
Like 8 to 10 quarterbacks in the first round.
Unless something, an abomination happens and you've got, somebody like Davis Mills and Justin Fields and 2 or 3 other
No,
guys.
say it, Gino. I saw it on the tip.
No,
He was thinking Baker.
I was thinking
Baker
Drew
Mayfield.
Lock.
He wouldn't speak
if
negatively about
3 or
Gino.
4 of those quarterbacks show up, then you might see a movement. But you're right. There's probably going to be, 8?
I think 8 to 10 quarterbacks
Yeah.
in the first round
8
is
easy.
very realistic.
Yeah.
And that's like, we could see the top 3 or 4 teams all go quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about Will Levis at a later show, I'm sure. But if I'm him, I'm not picking up football this year. I wouldn't touch. His stock's never going to be higher than it is right now.
Unless he goes out and has a Heisman worthy year.
He won't.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
I would not pick up a football.
Well, you look
Just
at
sit it out.
Well, you look at CJ Stroud and
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. What good's it going to do then to pick up football?
Right.
They have national championship hopes, though.
But they would still have national
And one of them's
championship
going to
hopes.
win the Heisman. more
One of them's
likely.
going to win the Heisman.
The
And
oth-
it's going to be C.J. Stroud because Bryce Young did last year.
Regular season wise, that's changed a little bit though because of the NIL. If you continue to play, you play well, you're going to start bringing in more NIL money for yourself.
Sounds like somebody listened to Matt Jones.
Oh, I didn't know. I did not. I didn't listen to Matt Jones, but I mean, it's the truth.
It's a fair point.
Now, when it
Well,
comes
I'm
ball
glad to
season-
know that we got another wide receiver on the team.
One more thing of note, real quick. Baker Mayfield said there will be no more at-home commercials with Baker Mayfield at Progressive.
Oh,
He said he wanted to do a moving away version, but it didn't work out.
boo! That's Progressive's fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really dropped it. That Progressive missed the mark.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, for sure.
Apologize, Progressive.
I was trying to think of her name. What's her
Flo.
Flo. We want you to write into the show and apologize, Flo.
Right.
Okay?
Right. All right, so moving on to the main event. We're going to talk about... We're going to elaborate a little further into this baseball card mania thing, because you weren't here the night that we got to talk about that. I think
I wasn't.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about movie franchises to wrap up the show.
I didn't leave you all out. I did bring a few Packers cards for Mr. Adam.
Ooh,
And
those are nice too.
Is there Will
the box
Levinson?
that I just opened up from
Nice.
baseball,
Next year.
all Braves that I got out of there.
Nice.
So I did bring a little something for
I
everybody.
see a little Freddie Freeman action.
Yeah, there was
back.
some Freddie Freeman
Freddie
in
Freeman,
there.
that should still be on the Braves.
He still wants to be there.
Yeah, he does.
Listen, at the end of the day, he's still the Joker that signed his name to a contract.
You're
when
right.
He knew that Atlanta was offering him a contract too. Hey, there's my guy.
There's Ronald Acuna who you're trying to trade for.
Yeah.
There is a Brett Favre Southern Miss card in this deck.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
That's solid.
Thanks,
that-
Wes. I appreciate that.
That's
Thank
before
you,
he
Wes.
went to the Atlanta Falcons.
Where he got hooked on painkillers.
Thanks a lot, Atlanta.
So that right there is what makes baseball cards cool.
Yeah.
That's what makes baseball cards cool. Way back in the day when they were 5 cents a pack, all the way up to,
And the gun holds its life for nearly 30 years.
Well, I don't know if it really held its
I
life.
wouldn't say it held its life.
It's still one piece.
It was in one piece. But I don't think it should.
Not for long.
I don't think it should crunch.
it should not crunch.
And
Still there.
it definitely crunched.
Neil was down for 3 days after that.
Yeah, I couldn't even get out of bed. Poison.
So 2020, when COVID hit,
Yep.
all of this kind of just blew up,
It blew up again.
right? It's always been a hobby. It was a hobby of mine when I was a kid, pretty much all the way through the 90s. And then early 2000s, I kind of transitioned into NASCAR because Elizabeth's a NASCAR fan, so we started collecting NASCAR stuff. And then I just kind of got away from it. And then, I don't know, in the last 6-8 months, I thought about getting back into it again. So, but it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like I follow several people on TikTok that are baseball card people.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me that they'll go up to this guy and he's got 3 cards and he's like, man, this collection is special. This is amazing. And the guy goes, what are you asking for? And he goes, $15,000.
Right.
And then the guy goes, man, that's actually a really good price. What if I gave you this card in $9,000 in cash? Would you do that? Yeah, I could do that. And then he hands him over $9,000, and I'm like,
I can't imagine paying $9,000 for cards.
but there's cards out there worth millions of dollars.
Yeah, there's
Millions.
There's just recently, watching TikTok, which everybody, if you're on TikTok, check us out from corner to corner. But there's a group called Backyard Breaks.
Shameless plug there.
Shameless plug. Backyard Breaks. Hey, plug us back. A lot of these guys anymore, if you're a collector and you want to just go buy, you still can go buy. The stores have opened back up, not just because of COVID, but they really had slacked off a lot before COVID because everybody just lost interest.
Yeah.
Prices of cards had gone down, and then, like you said, COVID made everything explode again.
Nobody had anything to do, so they
Right.
sat at home and
That's exactly right.
spent money.
So what they started doing was they had online breaks. So you send in your $125, or if you're buying a whole box, they'll personally break it online and everybody can watch. So these guys
And
just
what
break,
he means by breaks is a full unopened case of cards.
right.
They break it open, so to speak, and they sell it by the pack or by the team,
Right.
or by the card. There's a lot of different ways that I've seen it,
Correct.
and you got to know what you're doing with this stuff now.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of fakes and stuff going around
There's a
right
lot
now.
of fakes.
I've seen jersey breaks like that too.
Yeah.
Where people put $20 or whatever in a pool. Whatever number gets picked gets whatever jerseys in the box.
Gotcha.
And they've got helmets too. They'll do the pro helmets.
But they just recently, in a 2-month span, they just recently opened a LeBron, each team he's been on, logo man. So it's got the logo man from the jersey for each team. Well, that's the only card made like that.
Right. One of
It's
one.
sold for $2 million.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was graded or not. And that's another aspect of the cards at this point. That's the major aspect to make the values go way up is have your card graded.
Yeah.
And you hope you get somewhere between a 9
and a 10.
a 9 mint or a 10 gem mint.
Yeah.
Beckett, that would be PSA, which is some of these guys are PSA, SGA, or Beckett grades cards also.
But the PSA is the one that they're looking for the most. But they're also the one that's the most expensive to grade.
Right.
And they're also 8 months back on grading because there's so many freaking cards getting sent to
That's what I
them.
was about to ask. So do you just mail a card in?
You mail a card in. A lot of these guys, when they open a pack like this, I've got 2 packs here. They'll open it up. As soon as they open it up and they find a card in there, they will take it straight out of there. They will put it in a sleeve, put it in a hardcover sleeve, put it in a mailer, and send it directly to the grading period. And
you pay per card to get it graded,
yes,
right?
Anywhere from I've seen the different people that are trying to get off the ground to Beckett and PSA. Anywhere from $30 to $40 a card up to $150 a card.
Just to get a grade.
Just to get it graded. But if you get a grade back of 9.5 or 10, and let's just say it's that logo, you're
it's probably worth $5 million.
It's yeah, exactly. They also pulled a Cade Cunningham black. It's not Obsession. I can't think of the. There's so many. There's so many brands of cards or titles of cards for each. Panini's puts out 20 different types of cards.
Now, and then Topps just got sold to
Fanatics.
Yeah.
Right.
So
the hat company?
Yeah.
The hat company.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which apparently saved Topps' life.
Okay.
Right? Because they were headed out. They didn't have it. So Fanatics was able to buy them in. Now they also do like deals. Like I've seen deals to where if you send in 10 cards to get graded, you'll get something a little bit better, right? This is what's crazy about it, is you really have to know what you're doing. So I was watching this, and then, Trey, a friend of the show, plays with us. He is a massive baseball card and card collector, right? Like you said on the previous show, you went in and he spent $100 on a pack of cards that had 5 or 6 cards in it.
Yep.
But there's chances that some really nice, expensive cards in there. So when Tom Brady announced his retirement, first thing that I did is I went and I bought some Kyle Trask cards. Because if he becomes the starter, the price of those cards are going to shoot up. I bought 3 or 4 nice rookie cards that were all somewhere in the $10 to $20 range. Well, since then, Tom Brady come back, and now they're trying to trade for Garoppolo. And Kyle Trask I probably just wasted $60 or $70 right there.
Yeah. Not only that, they signed
Blaine
Gabbert back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, we're not really sold on you, Kyle Trask. So that's the chance you take.
Yeah.
That's why buying packs are so popular again instead of just buying single cards, unless it's graded high and it's somebody that's a proven superstar.
Right.
So what would you recommend? Like somebody just fresh off the street, like, hey, I want to go cards. Just go to the local Walmart, pick up a pack, or go to one of these shows.
So if you,
I would go to Walmart.
Well, shockingly, that's not a bad option. So you can buy what they call blaster packs, blaster boxes at Walmart now. You've got to go to a baseball card shop to get the hobby edition of cards. Those will have a better chance at getting better autographs, just better short print cards. That's part of a new thing. They're starting to put a short print card in there. It looks the same as any other card, but it's got a different look to it, and it's they're calling it a short print card.
And then you got the numbered cards too,
You've got
right?
numbered cards, and numbered cards have been around for a long time, but they went from 5,000 numbered 5,000 in the 90s down to you have to get under 10 for it to be fairly valuable.
Yeah.
And not only that, they make them in so many different versions in the same set. So Panini comes out with their Prism line. Well, within the Prism, you've got silver prisms, blue, red cracked ice, pink cracked ice, black,
Green.
but green, and those are all numbered differently. And your black prism is usually the one of ones and whatnot. So there's so many different versions of that card that.
So do you think that correlates? Like, do you all ever play the Madden Ultimate Team? Where you collect the cards and build your rosters and stuff. NBA is the one that I do that on the most, right? I enjoy doing that on the NBA games. I don't do it so much on the show or on Madden. I have, but the NBA is the one I like. But their cards, when you open them up, you got the diamonds are the best players available, and then you got the rubies and the emeralds and all that stuff. I wonder if that correlation started in baseball cards or started on the video game and came to baseball cards, because I got out of baseball cards for a long time.
Right.
So
I think it started with baseball cards. The games is a little different because you've got like I said, your superstars are your ones that you get your 95s, 94s and above.
Yeah.
But they're hard to get.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But like that card that you gave Neil a while ago is
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, but it's still an autographed rookie card.
It's an autographed rookie card. It's probably worth $10.
It's number 297.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just the number. Now, if it was numbered 1 of 10, then you times it by about 10 times.
Yeah.
So it would probably be worth 100.
Yeah.
But now, if you got that card just like that, that was a Mac Jones. It would have probably been worth 100, 150 without no number. But if you number it to 10,
Mac Jones, before the season last year, his cards were skyrocketing.
Yes.
After the season, it was not as much, but
my biggest problem with cards is I have not been a card collector in years, and occasionally I'll go out and pick up a pack maybe at a big box store.
Just for the chewing gum.
Just for chewing gum. I'm more apt to pick up a pack at like a Peddler's Mall or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I see these huge boxes, I mean, as big as a shoebox, will be at like Peddler's Malls, and they'll be filled completely with baseball cards or football, whatever the sport is, and they'll want $20 for them. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's worth $20. The problem is the market with those. It's so flooded now, especially with your older cards, because there was so many that I might have a few cards in here that are worth something. Now, what am I going to do with the rest of these dang things?
Right.
Because if I take them to a card shop, the guy's going to be like, "No, I'm not really interested."
You need to start teaching kids how to put them in their bikes and make it sound like they've got an awesome exhaust again.
Right.
So, generally, whenever I have bought cards on eBay, you'll get 5 to 10 or 20 common cards with it, right? And that's what a lot of these guys do with it, is they'll just throw those common cards in just because. But now, we went to that baseball card show last year, right? And Chip and that other guy,
Rob Donaldson.
Yeah. These guys were sitting at this table with thousands of baseball cards sitting there. Rob's got this list, and he's building a set, and he had like 2 years from like the 50s and the 60s, and he's going through these cards. I mean, I bet they sat there for hours.
He pulls a chair out.
We passed through 2 or 3 times, and he never moved. And he's going through these cards, and he's looking, and he's marking them on the list. Oh, I don't have that one. Boom. I don't have that one. And that's what he was doing. So that's where your common cards kind of come into play.
Yeah, right.
Is people that are trying to build that set.
Right.
But, yeah, he had a chair and everything.
Yep, pulled a chair out, and he just sat there in the middle of the aisle and was just looking through the...
And that just shows you there are that many different type of collectors. You know, you've got your guys that are our age that might be like, look, I'm going to get into these older cards. I'm going to try to build a set because the set of in the 50s, 60s, even early 70s are worth more now than just the individual rookie card because 98% of those cards, if you had them graded, are not worth getting graded.
Right.
Because you're talking about having them at about 4 or 5 or 6,
fairly
and that's not worth it.
that I have the 1989 Fleer set that had Griffey Jr. as the rookie, and I'm pretty sure that was the same set that had the Billy Ripken F-face bat in it.
Yeah.
I think. I'm fairly certain I've got that set.
Yeah, the gray background.
It's been a long time since I've dug through my actual collection. But I've got all the cards that I had from when I was a kid.
Adam, I feel like I'm sitting at my grandparents' house, and Pepaw has asked me to get up and turn the knob on the television.
They're turning the knob. They're going from one story to another. Before you know it, we're talking about the beaches of Normandy in here.
I'm like, good God, guys.
But, getting back to Adam's question, going
I asked
to
the question.
Going back, if you go to Walmart,
How to get started.
If you go to Walmart for kids that are, your age kids, if maybe a few years older than that, and they started to get into, my nephew is 8 or 9, and he's really gotten into LeBron, and so he probably
he's a little late to the party on that.
He would be at the age where he would get into seeing, these star players on a card and being able to keep them. And so going to Walmart is not a terrible option because you can get a blaster box. You can get, this Topps box was $29 and, I got well over 100 cards. At least it gives them something to start with. Mm-hmm. You do have different versions instead of just the same card over and over and over again. You do have these different type of the star of MLB that's shiny. So I think those are cool. But that's not a bad option to get started. Once you get over and above that, up to the next level, you'll need to start looking at your local baseball card shop. A lot of those, especially in more populated areas, will have trade nights, and they'll be full of kids. And and a lot of times they'll give out packs, just because they want. They
go
want,
over here to ours a lot.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Is ours?
It's near Save-A-Lot.
It's in that same
Okay,
shopping
yeah, I
center.
know what you're talking
Where
about.
the gas station
Where the
is.
gas station
Yep.
is.
Dave, I think, is his name Dave?
Yes.
I went in there one time. I've been there a couple times. I was overwhelmed. It's just jam full of all kinds of stuff.
I remember seeing the sign. I've never been in there.
Now, question for you.
Okay.
What would it, let's say that I had the complete set of 1989 Donruss.
Unfortunately, 89, 90, 91, and 92 were really, really, really bad years for cards.
Yeah.
89, the only thing that saves 89 is
Griffey Jr.
Is Griffey Jr.
93 is when
93 would be when Jr. showed up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say 85 then.
So
if I had a complete set, we were talking about older cards.
Right.
If I had a complete set of Topps 85.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much that would go for right off the top of my head, but it's going to go for more as the set than you would be able to, sell. I mean, unless it's in gem mint condition,
right.
And taking the Roger Clemens out of that. Wait a minute. Clemens was 86. Or was he 85?
I don't know. Adam wasn't
No,
born
he was
yet.
86. Darryl Strawberry was 85.
Wasn't around, bud.
Eric Davis was 85. But, it would be worth more selling it as a set like that. As I said,
85, 86 was right at the time I started collecting.
Well, and I mean, so I figure, and the reason I ask that is because I have seen the prices of the newer packs, and you can drop $100 and come out with 2 packs of cards.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So for those people that are looking to get into card collecting, or guys our age that are looking to get back into it, that might be the more economical way to start, because you can find a lot of those cards oftentimes at your peddlers malls and your secondhand stores.
I think the biggest point of the card industry is there's so many different avenues of how you want to go. Because these guys that are spending $15,000 on cards, they're doing it as an investment. Right? They're going to take that $15,000 worth of cards, and they're going to pair that with 2 other cards, and then they're going to trade that for $30,000 worth of cards and do that kind of stuff. There's one guy that I follow. I can't remember what his name is. I follow him on TikTok. He took a card that was worth $1.
I've seen this.
And he traded it for a card that was worth $2, and then he traded it for a card that was worth $10. Yeah, and he is traveling. He is traveling all over the place. And I think the last time I checked, he was up to about $2,000. He started with $1 card.
Yeah.
But now think about what he's put into having to make that transpire. Right. But the only way that works is to know what you're doing. People aren't just going to trade you a $1,000 card for a $10 card. You have to be able to acquire that talent to know exactly what you're looking at. And the fact that these guys can look at these cards and can tell you immediately that they're fake or counterfeit, like how they can pull that off is amazing anyways.
Right.
I saw a story just yesterday. That's one of the reasons it made me think about this show. There is a card that was put out there that had dual autographs from 2 different people on it. And it was obvious it was not their signatures because it looked like the same person had signed both of them. And there's a few of these cards that are out there. And you can go back and you can compare to their other autographs and you can see that they're off.
I saw this article.
Yeah.
And I can't think of who it was that was on the card.
I can't. I was thinking they were baseball players.
I saw that article.
But so the card went back to whoever the company is. They're going to replace that card for them. And then they're like giving them like a box of cards on top of that. But the biggest question is who the flip signed all those cards?
Yeah, and see, that's one of the other caveats into collecting cards now and trying to be an investor is a lot of these cards, case in point, this one right here that I gave Neil, it has a sticker on it that's got the autograph on it.
Right.
Well, what you really want to pull
is the autograph card.
Is the on-card autograph.
Yeah.
That way, there's no. I mean, somebody else, I guess, could do it, but there's no doubt it's on the card.
Yeah.
So that makes it that much more valuable. But at that card you're talking about had 2 stickers on it.
Yeah.
And they just all they do is sign the sheet, and then they just start sticking it on the card.
Yeah.
There's so many different avenues, it makes it mind-boggling to collect anymore.
So you and Mason do this together, right?
For the most part, yes.
Yeah. So what is your goal when you all are collecting? What are you all trying to do?
Have fun.
Just have fun?
I mean, I buy about, and honestly, I get the majority of my cards from Walmart, Target, Meijer, somewhere like that. Every once in a while, we'll go to the card shop. If I've made a little extra money, I'll go to the card shop knowing that I can either look for a card I want or look for a pack or a box that I know is going to have something better in it. But I just like the cards that they put out now. I want to have fun. Case in point, this Topps, I didn't know that there would be very much in it, but I knew that there would be a Wander Franco possible rookie card in it.
Right.
So
did you get a Wander Franco?
I did not get a Wander Franco card. Yeah. No.
Julio
especially
Franco.
not the
Or John Franco.
short print rookie card that they make.
Or a Frisco burger.
Or a Whataburger.
Oh, Whataburger's coming.
But it's mainly just for fun. I see social media and what people pull, what they can pull, stuff like that, and I think,
So have you ever bought into a break?
I have bought into a break. And shameless plug again. Pristine Auctions, which we know from the fantasy footballers, they do a wonderful job with everything sports memorabilia that you can think of. Well, they started a side business in pristine breaks, and I've bought into a few of them, not very many, but I have bought into a few of them before. The best card I've gotten out of that, and I've gotten a lot of bad ones. I've bought into packs and gotten nothing. But the best one I've got before would be a Willie McCovey, Tools of the Trade. It's a bat, piece of his jersey, piece of his pants, and it's a 1 of 1. It's not graded. It's just the card itself. I should have brought it with me.
So what'd you pay for that?
$150.
Yeah.
That was mine. What's your top dollar? Like, what's the max you would pay for one
That's
card?
Because there's just the
He's going to
you
regret
don't
this
know.
answer. I can already tell.
That's the most I've. I would not go. I probably wouldn't go anything over that. But the flawless that comes in the suitcase, anything NBA.
I saw
NFL.
a break on that.
Yeah, and
that's like 8 cards in that box, right?
8 cards in a box, and then they'll have 2 to 3 in-case cards in the briefcase.
Yeah.
Those go anywhere from $800 to $1,200 per spot.
Yeah.
And that's just for a card that you could get that dude out of.
Yeah.
Listen, if I spend $1,200 and I pull that guy, Grant Stewart, me and somebody are throwing hands.
Well, I said earlier I've been in a jersey break. The jersey ended up being a Polk High School jersey. And you know who went to Polk High School? It was an Al Bundy Polk High School jersey. And I was like, we just paid $50 to get in the draw for a Al Bundy.
Was it
jersey.
autographed?
I don't think so.
Most of the time they are, right?
I don't think it was. It might have been.
There was. I saw a helmet break the other day. And, of course, these jersey and helmet breaks, they come with a card that tells the statistics or the stats and stuff of it. And so he's reading the stats off. And I'm like, yeah, that's Zeke.
It's the same one. It wasn't the traditional
It was the
helmet.
white Dallas.
Yes.
Oh my God. It was a really, really nice.
At first he was
helmet.
like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's gonna be any good. And he kept reading, and he was like you could see it on his face.
Yeah.
And then he pulled out the helmet. It was cool.
Yeah. I think I would rather have the college helmet for Ezekiel Elliott, but it was really cool Dallas Cowboys because you don't see the white helmet for the Cowboys very often. But they're fun to watch. I had to talk. I was following so many of them on TikTok. I had to quit following them because that was my entire feed, and it was so freaking tempting. I sat there one day. I was talking to you when I was doing it, and I was like, I was this close to dropping $150 in, and I'm like, I just can't do it.
Yeah,
I just can't do it. Now, is Backyard the ones that tried to backdoor that dude on the card?
No.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
I know who you're talking about. Really, in all honesty, backyard breaks and pristine breaks are the only ones that I watch.
Yeah.
Because they're getting saturated.
Do you know who I'm talking about? Have you heard about that?
No.
There was they were giving away a card that night, right? And this dude, they'd already named who he was, that he was going to win this card if they got this particular type of card out, whatever the card was. Well, they hit it. It was a freaking Trevor Lawrence gold card that was worth $50,000 or something like that. Well, we can't give that away. I mean, they're freaking live.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost went under with that, and they retracted it because they were getting absolutely blistered on the internet. And he wound up getting his card. But they were not going to give him that card because Well, yeah, we said we was going to give away a free one, but we can't give you a $50,000 card. And I mean, they lost a lot of respect that night for sure.
Right.
I can't remember what but they're annoying as hell. Those two guys. I mean,
there's a lot of them that will do those, and they just get excited and they cuss and those are the guys I just don't respect.
Right.
They don't, and they've got their gloves on and they only shoot. They only shoot on their webcam in front of them, showing the card. They won't put another one up. A lot of these guys that are reparable will show the card. They'll have a webcam right in front of them, so they'll see the card. But they'll also have another camera up that shows them themselves.
Yeah.
To show them, hey, we're actually breaking this. We're showing you close-ups, but we're showing you that we're not doing anything funny.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that know how to do it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people out there that will only show the card, and then they'll bring their hands down underneath the table. They'll mess with the cards. They'll and then bring something
there's
else
a
back
couple
up.
of them that I watch, and you'll see them literally just break the packs open. And it's amazing watching them break some of those packs open. I've seen them cut the plastic off of them and stuff like that. But you're right, the ones that have it all sitting out in front of them to where you can literally see them open it up. But I love the suspense part of it, right? They've all got that little white card in there.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got this white card over, and they'll pull it down. They go, oh, it's a Buccaneers card. And then they'll turn it upside down. They go, oh, it's a quarterback. Oh, it's a 1-1. They get all into it. It's really funny.
But, I mean, if you want to get into collecting, by all means, don't let the market scare you. Because, I mean, there are a lot of expensive cards. There are a lot of ways to make cards expensive. But just go to your local store, local hobby store, local retail store, see what they've got. Buy a few packs.
I do think that I'm like you, though.
Enjoy.
I believe I would start with packs because there's so much.
There's an excitement to
fake to it right now.
Yes, agreed.
That you could literally go out and spend money on eBay or some of these card sites and spend a few $100s and get nothing but fake cards.
Correct.
And if you don't know what you're looking for, you're probably better off to just stick to the packs.
Yeah, do your research before you start doing any kind of eBaying or buying online and stuff like that. Just enjoy yourself at first, and then if you see that you hit a few good things and you know how to trade and you've done your research, by all means, take it to the next level. Yeah.
I'm just trying to envision Dave's card shop over there full of people trying to trade cards and stuff. Now, do you get in Magic the Gathering or anything like that?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's a huge thing too.
That's a big one.
That and Pokemon and all that.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different story.
Well, it's funny, and I'll end with this story. At school this year, I had an altercation between two kids. One kid slapped another because he said, he was like me, I'm oblivious to all this, I don't know. He thought that Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Were the same, and it totally offended this other kid. And he backhanded him in class. And so I pull him out, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? He was like, he didn't know the difference between Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! That's offensive. And I was like, wow, buddy, like, little extreme there.
You should have totally went with what's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Little extreme there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, that was a fun topic. I mean,
Neil, did you have fun?
Barrel of fun.
Wow. We just scratched the surface as to what that actual is.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that we really scratched the surface. It was just a touch of paint.
I mean, it was good to hear from you all who actually know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because, I mean, I know nothing. But the boys are at the age where I would like to maybe... My papa did it for me. Got us every grandkid a big box of cards, baseball cards. And he said, look, you can't open them till you're 18. So there I am, a little boy, having to stare at this big box of cards in my closet.
Yeah.
But I couldn't touch till I was 18.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do the same for the boys. Just get a bunch of cards and say, hey, 18, they're yours.
Now, you do realize at this point, though, right, is every time you buy them a toy, You have to buy 2 of them and keep the one in the box and put it up, right?
That's the problem with having 2 boys so close together. So I would have to buy 4, actually.
Yeah.
Because you got to buy 2 for them to play with and then the 2 to put up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's $100 easy on them wrestling figures.
Easy.
So our other topic, I don't know if it was on TV all weekend long, was the Rocky movies, right? I literally sat there for 10 straight hours over the weekend and watched 1, 2, 3, and 4 and part of 5, right?
That part of 5 probably didn't even need to be watched.
Well,
Tommy Gunn.
It's been a long time since I've seen 5, and I texted you guys about possibly doing like movie franchises or something, and you responded immediately with your ranking of the movies, and 5 was way down the list. I don't know if 5 gets the credit that 5 actually isn't as bad.
Oh, it's bad.
As you think.
It's bad.
When you compare it to 1 through 4, 5 is...
But you can't, right?
But I mean, they open themselves up to that when they put it in the trilogy.
Yes.
Yeah. The worst part about 5
Everything.
is you don't get the story as to why he's rich and famous at the end of 4.
That's what I was going to say.
And broke at the beginning of 5.
It's almost like there needs to be a Rocky 4.5 for you to figure out why. Because obviously he lost everything.
Right.
And at the end of 4, when he beats Ivan Drago, he has everything.
Right. And that match was for no money.
No.
But that wouldn't be the reason why he lost everything.
Right.
And
The reason why he lost is because, I mean, we're Americans. When you get rich,
You blow
you
it.
throw on dollar bills and then you're poor again.
and
Well, I mean, you saw the robot that he bought.
Yes.
As a birthday present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but now he had those spending habits from the very beginning. He bought the Trans Am. He had the leather jackets, and all that from earlier in the movies. So when I sent that to you, I thought I'd literally, to be honest with you, I think we could do an entire show on the Rocky franchise just by itself. To me, it's the greatest sports franchise, movie franchise of all time. Right?
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
But Mighty Ducks cannot outdo Rocky.
I didn't say it would outdo it. It's just as good though.
And I know Mighty Ducks is great. I know Major League is great. And to be honest with you, I couldn't think of another franchise other than those 3.
I'm probably going to say something blasphemous right now. I don't think they should have ever made a Major League 2. I don't think it should be a franchise. I think it should be a singular, standalone title. They shouldn't have come out with number 2.
I'm okay with 1 and 2.
Yeah, 3 was bad.
Well, I don't even count 3. Things have changed so much. It's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think they should have stopped at 1.
I like 2 because you have Rube, who's just hilarious in himself, and then you got the. How would you ever get away with the
marbles?
You got no marbles.
No marbles.
That's still one of the classic memes that there is out there. So, there's some really good things about that. It sucked that Wesley Snipes didn't get the carryover.
Agreed.
That hurt a little bit because almost everybody else was still in it other than him.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I'm just.
And I would have been okay if it would have just been the other dude in both of them, but Wesley Snipes was really, really key to the first one, right? So, but when I threw this out, you immediately threw your rankings out.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you had it at 4, 2, 1, and 3.
And 1 and 3.
1 and 3 can alternate.
They can alternate.
That's the exact order I would go.
I mean, to me, Rocky 4 is head and shoulders above all of them.
Yeah.
And I think it's the whole American versus Russia storyline.
And it was right in the heat of when that was really happening.
I mean, we're talking about Drago killed Apollo.
Yes.
Because Rocky wouldn't throw in the damn towel.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
So, Rocky 4 for me, no doubt number one.
The soundtrack is amazing to that movie.
Would you have that on cassette tape?
8-track. Maybe vinyl.
I had it on cassette.
In your Walkman.
I did, yeah. And it's.
Put my mom
I have some of those songs on my current playlist because I think that soundtrack is that good. If you were listening when I came jamming in, I was rocking to No Easy Way Out coming in.
I think Rocky 1 is really good. I put Rocky 2 second because that's when he overtakes the payoff. That's when he goes over Apollo.
Right. And that whole movie is not about the fight.
No.
I mean, the last 20 minutes of the movie, the last 20, 30 minutes of the movie is about the fight. The whole story is about her and his love for her, and, Mick is just like, you gotta snarl when you punch, Rock.
Well, I love the cliffhanger at the end of 1. When there ain't gonna be another match. And Rocky says, I don't want another match.
Yeah.
So that's how it ends. And then you immediately pick up in 2 with them at the hospital. And Apollo's like, I'll beat you again.
Yeah.
Well, and Rocky's like, I didn't think we were fighting again. Like, I thought this was a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Rocky, Wes having trouble seeing over there. He has to pull his glasses up because he won't give in to the bifocals.
I'm not doing it.
Give me hold it back here so you can see?
No.
Okay.
I need to see the details.
So, I don't think, when you look at the movies as a whole, Rocky never anticipated fighting another match after Apollo.
Right.
But it was Apollo that drew him back in. And we say it on every one of our sports shows here lately, because money drives everything.
Right.
The promoters, your bunch of Don Kings out there were like, no, we got to get this going again. So I could very easily, like I said, like Adam said, 2 and 3 to me are interchangeable. Without 3 and the training Rocky got from Apollo's crew, he doesn't beat Ivan Drago.
Right.
So,
and when you sit there and I'm going to, a little small confession, right? It's actually been on TV the last 2 weekends. I watched most of them last weekend and this weekend too. So, because I kind of dissected them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I never really liked 3 as much until you really kind of start to look at it and in that inner strife that he has, that, when Mick kind of told him, you can't beat this guy because I've basically been protecting you this entire time.
And that's what he tells him. He's like, yeah. But I'm undefeated. He's like, because I put you in the ring against people that were bums.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that they weren't legitimate people, but they didn't have a chance of beating you, basically. Right. And so then the untimely death of Mick right before his match, which, in today's society, that match never transpires.
Clubber Lang pushes him, causes him to have a heart attack.
Yeah. And I don't know that there's a better character for that role at that time.
When you look at that time, when Rocky 3 came out, there is not another person they could have picked to be Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
It had to be Mr. T.
Yeah. And he was fantastic at it. But you get that whole... He breaks down to Adrian, and he goes, I'm afraid. What do you want from me? You want to see me weak? And she goes, no, I just want to know why. If you want to quit, but you've never quit at anything.
Right.
And it's like, once he got that out, mm-hmm. then it was like, all right. And the crazy part about it is like, and I don't know how much weight he actually lost, but you could tell from the first fight to the second fight, there was a significant amount of weight loss on him. Now, it says he was like 201 in the first fight and 155 in the second fight. I highly doubt that he fought as a heavyweight at 155. But he looked like he might have been one, because, he was really, really slender in that second one.
But because Apollo, he had to be light on his feet. He had to... Yeah. You can't stand and punch with this guy. That's what Apollo tells him.
Yeah. And it's like the whole second movie, what is Mick trying to do? Greasy fast lightning, So he tries to make him. He makes him faster in the second one, and he gets even faster in the third one, and then the fourth one he just beefs back up.
Well, and listen, the fourth one he does it some in the third too, but when he goes, "Come on, you're not so bad," and you just see his face, and it's all just Jack nose all twisted, and I mean Clubber Lang and Drago both are like, what in the world?
And with Clubber, when he had that mohawk, he reached out and kept rubbing his mohawk. And he goes, "My mama hits harder than that." So, those four obviously set themselves apart. Mm-hmm. 5 wasn't terrible. It wasn't a great story, but it did miss that, like you said, a 4.5. And then after that, it was Rocky Balboa. Which I believe.
I think it's a sneaky good movie.
When it started with him at the graveside, I was like, tears already.
Yeah.
You can't start with Adrian on the grave.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it is good. And it's funny, though. They'd only played those 5. It didn't roll through all the rest of them.
And of course, he drops the iconic line, it's not about how hard, or it's not about how many times you get hit, but how many times you keep getting hit and keep hit and keep moving forward, or whatever however he phrased it. I thought that was the best ending to the whole franchise.
Yeah.
I grouped Rocky Balboa in with 1 through 5.
Yeah. And that's where he owns the restaurant in that one, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been forever since I've seen it.
Yeah. Now, what's your thoughts on the Creed movies?
I love Creed.
I honestly have not seen any of the Creeds.
If you watch Creed 1 and 2, you're like, hey, this is up there with Rocky.
Now, Creed 2 is where he fights. Is that where he fights Drago's son?
Yes.
Because we get Dolph Lundgren back.
Yeah. But
who still looks like he could just wear somebody else.
The training scene in number 2 reminds you of those old school trainings that Rocky would do.
Yep.
I think that's one of the coolest parts about the whole Rocky thing is he just takes everyday lively type stuff and turns them into a training thing.
When he was in Russia, he's walking with a big log on his back.
Through 4 feet of snow.
Yeah, through snow up to his knees. And
and puts all those rocks in that net, and he's lifting those forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that movie because, we are pro wrestling fans, and I look at it through a pro wrestling lens. And you could see Rocky. Of course, he's the ultimate heel because it's in Moscow, right?
Yep.
And you see where he's the heel, booed and spit on and stuff thrown at him. And as the fight goes on, and as he continues to take what Drago gives him and keeps coming, he turns the fans to where at the end of the match they're probably split.
Yeah, they're cheering for Rocky.
So it's but I agree. Rocky is an iconic sports franchise. When you look at a whole franchise, you're probably right. It probably is the most famous sports franchise.
So the side story to that, do you know the story to that? How that all transpired? So Stallone wanted to be an actor, right?
Couldn't read.
Right. But he saw a story on a boxer. And he wrote this, right? This was his idea. He took it to Hollywood, got turned down several different times. But the whole caveat to it is he wanted to act. He wanted to do this. And they kept turning him down, kept turning him down, kept turning him down. And he eventually got someone to latch on to the idea and agreed to let him...
I guess it had to be Universal.
...play Rocky. And the rest is history.
In Philadelphia, Rocky Balboa is a legitimate person. They really believe that.
There's a statue.
Yeah. I went there 2 summers ago when I guess it had been 2019 when we went, but it was prior to COVID. We went up there to Wilmington, Delaware to watch the Blue Rocks play because they were affiliate of the Royals. And that was only 30 minutes from Philadelphia. So we went to Philadelphia, saw the big library where he runs up the steps. I ran up the steps, about died, but I did run up. I told him, I said, I'm not leaving until I run up these steps. And then right down at the bottom, the statue's there where he's up and you can take a picture and do all that stuff. And it's got his name inscripted and all that. That's a pretty cool part of it.
Right.
I think that's about all we did in Philadelphia because it was a massive city.
Now, talk about boxing movies. How do y'all feel about Cinderella Man?
I like it.
I really like Cinderella Man.
Have you seen it, Wes?
I have not seen
He
it.
lived it. He doesn't need to see it.
He was there
He
when
was there during the
they
Depression.
were recording like this.
Sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Russell Crowe.
I was going to say, yeah.
And it's during the Depression. Have no money. He is a boxer and basically gets a lucky punch in a big fight and wins, and then becomes the champion and just keeps. Who did he fight? Joe Louis.
It's been a long time.
I think it was Joe Louis. Like right as Joe Louis was getting ready to take off, he built up to where.
So it's a true story.
It's a true story.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, it is. If you ever, it's one of those movies that never comes on TV. If you ever come across it, it's worth the watch to sit down.
It used to be on Netflix.
Was it?
I don't know if it still is.
We don't seem to keep anything on there very long anymore.
Well, with all these other streaming services, Netflix is kind of losing their luster.
And the fact that Netflix charges more than any other streaming service.
Right.
Well, and they've got. Do you realize there's 3 different tiers for Netflix?
Yes.
And they're all exactly the same.
It just depends on.
I was stupid enough to sign up for the 4K thing.
Well, yeah,
It doesn't look any different.
That one also controls like how many devices you can watch it on at the same time.
Oh, gotcha.
That's where the difference is. Like one of them, you can only watch it on 2 devices at the same time. Another one's 3. Another one's 4 to 5.
Yeah. So, you got any ideas for the grand finale?
Of course, I got ideas for the grand finale. Finish him. Flawless victory. So I think today I'll cue Beyonce.
All the single ladies. All the
If you
single
like
ladies.
it, then you should have put a ring on it.
That was what I was thinking tonight.
Who has a ring? Who doesn't? NBA edition. I got 7 names.
Holy cow. Oh, you're just going to go through them one by one?
One by one.
Okay.
You say yes or no.
Okay.
All right?
Are we all screaming out at the same time, or you're just going to name a name? We're going around the table.
And you can just, I'll just name a name and you tell me if you think he has a ring or not.
These are going to be the most obscure names.
Oh
No.
These are going to be bad names.
Well, I'll say that in the first one. I mean, he wasn't.
Tom Guglielmo.
Don't you talk about Googs.
No, this is a Wally Zerbiak type question.
Well, close. Darko Milicic. Number 2 pick in between LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony.
Went to the Detroit Pistons.
But he went somewhere else after that.
Yes, he did.
Sean says no.
Darko wouldn't be on this list, I don't think, like if it wasn't a yes. So I'll say yes.
I'm going to say no.
Yes, he won it with the Detroit Pistons.
Was he on those teams with Ben Wallace and all them?
Yep.
Really?
That's what it said.
In Europe, maybe. He didn't play.
Dominique Wilkins.
No.
No. I'll throw you another softball. Steve Nash.
No.
Steve Nash is a no. Isaiah Ryder.
Of course you would pick Isaiah Ryder.
He's got a slam dunk contest.
He does.
Yeah.
You know my favorite slam dunk contest winner? This is off the topic. Harold Miner.
Harold Miner was good out of USC.
He was really good.
He was a high flyer.
Isaiah Ryder.
I don't think so.
I'm going to say no, too.
No.
I don't even know who he played for, but I'm going to say yes.
Yes, with the Los Angeles Lakers.
What?
Is that with Glenn
Kobe?
Rice and Kobe?
Yes.
Yep.
Glenn Rice almost made the list, too. Chris Mullin.
No.
No.
Chris Mullin's a no. Gary Payton.
No.
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, with the Lakers.
Right.
They lost with the Lakers.
Miami Heat.
That's right.
He was on the Heat team.
He went with Shaq.
Yep.
After the Laker breakup.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I said yes, so it didn't,
And then the last one, because Wes likes dogs, we're going to go with the big dog, Glenn Robinson.
Robinson. I think he's got one.
Didn't we just answer this?
No, Glenn Rice.
Oh, Glenn Robinson.
I think
Glenn Robinson. The only team I remember him playing for was the Bucks.
Number 13 on the Milwaukee Bucks.
But he played, I want to say he played for the Heat also.
I'm going to say yes because I think he played for the Spurs too.
Sean's yes.
I'm going to say no.
No.
I said yes.
Yes. San Antonio Spurs.
Good job, Sean.
Woo!
I think I got the most right.
I don't know. I think Sean done.
Sean did pretty good.
Yeah, but Sean said yes, Lakers, which is technically wrong.
No,
But he still
But
said
he
yes.
still said
I
yes.
said just yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're splitting frog hairs.
Okay.
All right.
I want my dub. I like to eat them like
we'll have to start
like
keeping
Jameis
score on this
Winston.
kind of stuff.
We will. So that was the Beyonce edition of Grand Finale. Do they have a ring or not? I've been teasing the idea of, I don't know if y'all have seen it on TikTok, but it's usually you got 10 throws, 10 something to get. If you get it in the hole or or get in the bucket, they give you a clue. So like it could be guess the NFL player, and I thought we could do like ping pong balls bounce into a cup, and if you get it, then I would give you a clue like NFC, and then NFC East, Cowboys offense, so every clue, and you got 10 tries. How many ever times you make it is every time you make it, you get another clue. So if you only make one, then maybe the only clue is the conference they're in. So then you just have to. So
All right.
Interesting.
So you get 10 throws no matter what.
10 throws. That's it.
Okay. I didn't know if it would be one
Now,
of those things.
the
like
one thing about it
Fuse
is
Cube.
that's going to take a lot of time. So it only have to be like one person at a time. There's no way all three.
Well,
of us
no,
could do that.
I think as a group, you all could take
gotcha.
it would be a group effort.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
So, just some thoughts. We're trying to mix it up a little bit, throw a little pizzazz. You know what these are?
Spirit fingers.
No,
James
these aren't
fingers.
spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers. You haven't seen that movie.
We really need to start recording this. We said earlier that today being your birthday, probably the only time that we actually have a birthday.
And you've looked it up, and it's not.
It's not. Next week will also be a birthday of this show.
What?
This show's turning one.
Were you getting ready to say changes?
No.
I thought you were going changes.
No. But that would work too.
I
would
like
work.
that. So, that's kind of a big deal, right?
I mean, listen.
How many times did we try quitting and these two wouldn't let us do it?
Well, they even tried to talk us out of it, and there was times we were convinced we were going to quit.
All along, though, we kept saying, let's just get to 1 year.
Even in our darkest times of this podcast, where we had literally 2 listeners, and we're looking at both of them right now.
Who are still 2 of our listeners.
Right.
Right.
That's how much they love it. They go and listen to themselves.
We got to make sure we sound good. Sound check. That's all
So
we do.
it's our first thing was like, we got to get through WrestleMania. And then it was like, you know what? We've made it that far. Let's go to a year. After we've done a year, and I would always tell Sean, I was like, listen, at a year mark, nobody can say at that point that we didn't at least try.
Right.
We put at least 52 episodes out. We're actually closer to 90 with all the
We're getting
extra.
there. Yeah.
So, but that was our mark, was a year. And honestly, until we had changed it up recently, I don't know that we would have made it much past next week.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably 6-8 weeks ago when we decided to make the change and we introduced the sports desk thing, and then or sports desk.
You struggled with that. The English language is hard.
Yeah.
You work with Hispanics all day. I
It is
understand.
8:30, so the melatonin
melatonin
is
is
kicking
setting
in.
in.
He almost fell asleep mid word.
It's
Come on, Pop.
Desk.
You gotta snore when you talk, Sean. and then we brought these guys on, and I don't know. That really wasn't kind of the plan, but it just kind of morphed into that. And
Go, Power Ranger.
having 4 voices of reason, and all of us being sports nuts, and we all are wrestling fans, it just kind of made sense. So, next week's show, we're just going to kind of sit back and chat and talk about the past year and maybe some of our favorite moments and stuff like that. Just kind of recollect and, celebrate that first year of completion.
When you said that just now, I wanted to drop the Gary Bertier line from Remember the Titans and say, Coach, I'm hurt. I ain't dead.
Because we're reflecting.
Time for reflection.
That's really good.
Thanks.
I like that. Being a sports movie, So, the one thing about it is the sports is an endless topic.
Endless?
And it pretty much is a huge part of everyday life for a lot of people.
Right.
It's obviously working. We're bringing in listeners that we didn't have before.
Right.
Which was kind of your thought on the whole process was, hey, we're kind of cornered with our friends list of the people that we know that are willing to listen to wrestling.
Because we had people tell us that, hey, I'd like to listen to your show, but I don't like wrestling.
Or I don't know anything about wrestling. And we've had recent listeners kick in and start listening because it's not just based on wrestling.
Right.
Right? And I've got to the point now that, like, I was at the bowling alley the other night, and there was a guy that we were bowling against. I know he's a big sports fan. I was like, hey, you're a big sports guy, right? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, do you listen to the podcast? He goes, no, but I was kind of always wanted to. And I was like, here you go. And I said, listen to our podcast. I said, it's my podcast. Me and my buddies do it with, we talk about sports. I said, I think you'd probably enjoy it, And
you're going to follow back up with him Thursday, see if he's listening.
Right. If not, I'm going to get his phone and pre-program it in for him. So
I'm gonna not Nancy Kerrigan. Who bashed her knee?
Tara Lipinski.
No, not
Tara. I was about to go with it though.
Tanya
Hardy. If you like, listen.
Well, if Tara is listening, we apologize on behalf of Adam's stupidity.
Sounded
Oh,
good.
she was a skater. She was about 10 years later.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Michelle Kwan, I don't know.
When all that happened, I was like 5.
Right.
I mean,
That's so funny.
Tell him, if you haven't listened yet, I'm about to Tanya Harding you here at the bowling alley.
Right. I know you're going to go up there and throw that ball, but I'm going to take your knee out.
Right.
But, so anyways, next week we're going to do a little bit of celebration on that part of it.
Celebrate.
And then we're going to tell you what's up for season 2.
Season 2.
So, we're kind of excited. Season 2 will break the day we are on our way to Nashville. So excited about
He's
that.
way excited.
way
You get another
excited.
opco.
It's too bad it's not in Atlanta.
Why? Because it's getting hot in here?
No, because you know what's in Atlanta. There's a certain street.
I mean,
Right.
completely and utterly.
Hey, he turns 37 and it's gone.
You've Chris
Just
Paul.
like Chris Paul, yeah.
I'm still confused.
Bad street!
I just want somebody else to say it.
Yeah, turns 37, his brain is gone. So,
Glad to know what I
It
had
wasn't
to
much
look
there
forward
anyways.
to.
He don't remember what happens
Well,
2
that's
hours
why
from now.
next year's.
the worst part about it is, by the way,
next
we just
week's-
need to quit sending links in our chat because now neither one of these guys are looking at it. It's like he sends one and he sends the same exact thing. I was like, I think we've seen this. So
I tell you all, in my defense, you all know this in advance. So if I send the same TikTok or
And sometimes it's like a week later. That's what's hilarious.
and you know it's bad whenever Adam's like, I think I sent this. And I was like, I don't know if you did or not.
Well, and then the other morning, like literally he sends the Twitter version of my TikTok version 30 minutes later. I'm like, I just sent that.
But you sent it on TikTok. Maybe I wanted to see the Twitter version.
Same thing. Oh my gosh.
But your gray-headed friend done the same thing. Saturday.
You gotta talk about your gray hair.
It's okay.
He has hair. I
Uncle
hope
Salty.
to have
The
hair.
silver
his
fox.
age. The silver fox. I hope to be the silver fox one day.
Do I keep the name Breadman or do I change to Silver Fox?
Maybe season 2, you're silver fox.
Because you're seasoned at that point. But anyway, I sent the link of the Virginia Tech crowd going crazy on Saturday.
Yes.
Sure enough, this morning, the bread man
The minute I saw that, I just like...
the bread man says the same exact
I just
video.
clicked on it and saw exactly what the picture was, and I went, scrolled on, because I knew exactly what it was.
But
I
I watched it all over again.
'Cause he goes-
It's chills every
he
time.
goes,
Oh, good.
This is why we can't leave Virginia Tech out.
It's the same scene. Same game.
Just wait. I'll probably send it next week.
And then Adam with his, I'm not even giving the guy credit. Them stupid ranking things that you send.
Oh, Big Game Boomer.
Big Game Boomer.
What up, Big Game?
So, the recollection show next week is going to be really good for me because I don't remember any of this anyway. So you all can talk about your favorite moments, and I'm like, that did happen. I do remember
I do
that.
recall that.
Or are you going to sit up there with this blank look on his face going,
I don't remember that.
don't recall that at all?
We'll come.
We
to
did that show?
We'll
We
come
did
to the
that?
table with our top 10, and Neil will have a blank sheet of paper.
That's usually what I have. Actually, I wrote down, I was typing my game out as you all were talking earlier.
All right, well, it's been another great episode, and happy birthday again, brother.
Whoop! Thank you guys.
And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Stay safe, friends.
The Moco Four Horsemen would like to thank you for listening to From Corner to Corner. Be sure to go out and follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube. Whatever podcast platform that you listen to us on, be sure to go out and give us a 5-star review. Thanks as always, and we look forward to seeing you next week.